Hi, my name's Barry Crampton. Welcome to another edition of Not the Evangelist News. Today I'm going to talk about EV depreciation and how it's affecting the motor trade. But first I'll start off with a couple of tweets that have been sent to me. Going Green Grover, December the 5th. I reckon Barry's going to be right peeved at about 9:05 this morning. It doesn't say what time that was, but I'll click on it and see. So 8:51 a.m. So he's giving me 15 minutes to think about it. And then Essex EV here again. God, this guy is such a moron, honestly. Yes, he's just so predictable and can't seem to understand that automaking is a global business such that the 2024 legacy vehicle global contraction can't possibly be anything to do with our government. I've no idea where to start with that, honestly. I just don't know. This guy gets himself in a tizzy. Barry Crampton! Barry Crampton! And it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, Essex EV is... What a fool this guy is. But you will see Essex EV is it, and this is kind of all the EV shows grasping at straws. Here we go. It's been clear this year that it's not sales of EVs but cars with engines that are decreasing. That's from the SMMT report. We go down, there you go. Dr. Andy Palmer. Dr. Andy Palmer is a big friend of the evangelists, the cult. I've done a tweet here December the 1st and Essex EV has jumps on it straight away. So says the man who calls his quadricycle an EV. It's got four wheels. To me it's a car. I would class it as a car. It is a quadricycle, but it's an electric car that I actually love. I love driving it. It's brilliant. Backwards and forwards to work. £1.50 a week, you know, if that. So normally Range Rover, 40 to 80 quid a week. I spend in my Range Rover, but there you go. But we just go down here. Oh dear, it seems that one of those who instantly fell for the mainstream media's nonsense over Luton was one of our sparring partners, Barry Crampton. Sparring partner. Guy's an idiot. I reckon Barry's going to be right peeved at about 9:05 this morning. Go to my answer. If it's good news for the motor trade, I'll be over the moon. Watch out for the but. So I know what's going to happen. EV sales, EV registrations have gone up, but there's always a sting in the tail. So here we go. We'll go to the usual EVers. Dr. Andy Palmer. This is EVA England. EVs make up a quarter of all the new cars sold last month. Is a huge show of support for the sector and a sure sign that drivers are feeling confident making the switch. EVs are firmly entering the mainstream and fast becoming the option of choice. Now is the time for the government to press on to ensure all drivers are given an equal opportunity to afford to make the switch and enjoy a seamless driving and charging experience. But Dr. Andy Palmer has retweeted that, has reposted that. We'll go down. Dr. Andy Palmer reposted Jan Rose now. 1 in 4 cars sold in the UK in November were electric. Despite all the negativity in the media about EV sales being down and so on, the market keeps growing. Too often media reports just reflect the author's own dislike of EVs more than anything. We'll see what he does. I thought it was a woman at first, but do you know what? I'm not going to say anything, but I'm sure they're all one person. Jan Rose now. He's VP and Director, Reg Assist Project, Fellow Energy Institute, ECIO Oxford, CISL Cambridge. What matters? We'll just have a look on his webpage. All right, Jan has dedicated his life to creating a sustainable and efficient energy system. Starting at the age of 8, he doesn't look much older now, does he? That's not age, is it? I'm not going to get into trouble for it. That's a compliment. He's eight, apart from his obvious, that might, I'm just going to apologise now. Anyway, he actually looks like the hitman, don't you think? I hope he's not. So that's what Jan does now. He's a little bit biased, isn't he? Let's face it, he's a little bit biased. But the good thing is, he's leaving Twitter and he's going to the other place. One info. So, you know, Andy Palmer, he's retweeting that. He's doing a great job, isn't he? Dr. Andy Palmer, December the 5th. BEV registrations rose in November, up 58.4% to 38,581 units, representing 25.1%. That's just over a quarter. That's really good. Of the overall market, according to the SMMT. Oh, God. Why did he have to say that? I was really upbeat until he said that. A four-letter word to everybody who values the motor trade and jobs in the motor trade. The market share, well ahead of the adjusted ZEV mandate, is coming from price realignment. Good news for consumer, but tough on OEMs. Do you think, Andy? It's good news for consumers, is it? Is catastrophic depreciation good news for consumers? I don't think it is. It's not good for dealers either. Oh, here we go. November also saw double-digit falls in registrations of petrol, minus 17.7%, and diesel minus 10.1% cars. With petrol remaining the most popular powertrain, hybrid and plug-in hybrid uptake also declined by 3.6% and 1.2% respectively. Same day, electric vehicles, 1 in 4 car sales were EVs as drivers see significant tax breaks. There's some tweeting that, isn't there? Really. But the thing is, when you then go on to, like, other people, Stuart Humphrey here, which I think I've mentioned before. Stuart Humphrey reposted Dr. Andy Palmer. BEV registrations rose to all his, how many has he got? 728 followers. Cole, I'll just go down. Colin Walker reposted EVA England. Another successful correction secured by ECI fact-checking team. The persistence of what was it? Glad yesterday's At the Times article has been corrected to clarify that EV sales are not falling but rising. Well, again, that's debatable because there's a lot of self-registrations. They're not sales. In fact, rising so much that as of today, 1 in 4 cars sold is electric. SMMT confirming that 1 in 4 cars sold in November was an EV. Colin Walker reposted Matt Finch. You know, all this stuff. Let's just go to the top. Colin Walker reposted James Murray. We'll see what James does. IncisiveBusinessGreen.com. I wonder what his agenda is. There are literally stories in supposedly respected titles about EV sales stalling, when EV sales are up over 51% to account for over a quarter of all new car sales, and sales of petrol internal combustion engine models are slumping to record lows. If I remember, I'll address that in a bit. Graham Cobb, UK electric market is doing better than you might think. Money News, Sky News. That's actually quite interesting. If you can read that, Ed Conway, and you'll see where everything's going wrong, stuff coming from China. And pretty sure that if there is a trade war, I'm sure that China has secured something like 80% of the lithium or cobalt or whatever you want to call it from the Congo. It wouldn't take a rocket scientist to think, right, well, we've got all the cobalt, you want it, you're putting 100% levy on our EVs, we'll put 500% on our batteries. It's not going to end well. EVs are too expensive, no one's buying them. Government introduces a mandate that encourages manufacturers to reduce prices as they compete with each other for sales to hit their targets. Sales go up. No, not like that. The government has brought in this mandate which is bankrupting the motor trade, decimating it, bankrupting it completely, getting rid of all the old independents. People going bankrupt every flipping day virtually. Losing money, they're all losing money. They're all making less money than they were last year and the year before the EV mandate. The manufacturers laying people off, shutting factories. But this moron thinks that by encourages manufacturers to reduce EV prices as they compete with each other for sales to hit their targets. Sales go up. Non-profit organisation. What would happen if everybody was non-profit? Nobody would get any wages, would they? This demand from Ford for taxpayer money to help them sell EVs is rather bold. Plenty are having no problems hitting their EV sales targets, e.g. BMW, Mercedes, Hyundai. Guess who is? Ford. Not the mandate's fault. They started 24 with a grand total of one model of EV on sale. Again, we'll go back to that. Somebody else, who's this? Everything Electric show. If I get time, I'll do a video on these shower. There you go. Everything Electric show reposted. Andy Palmer again. Fully Charged show. Oh dear me, the Fully Charged show. That's strange, isn't it? Barry throwing his toys out of his pram with love from Dan Caesar and the team. Someone explained to Barry how it's not possible to ask those with no lived experience of driving an EV for their lived experience of driving an EV. Not what I said, Dan. There you go. I'm pretty sure that the people who have had negative experience and blown a fortune will not be following your side unless they are masochists. You are part of the problem. You just either don't realise. So, not what I said, Dan. Oh, Barry Crampton. So all the Fully Charged show's tweets are all about me. They've not even mentioned the fantastic time that EVs are having. So here we go. We'll go to the SMMT. This is the cruncher. SMMT. Workable regulation can ensure a thriving greener UK. Read our weekly auto update from Chief Executive Mike Horse, SMMT, looking at EV registrations grew for an 11th straight month. Overall new car market contracted for the third time in 4 months. Right, so do you know why EV registrations have grown and the market's contracting? Because the manufacturers can't afford to sell anything that's not EVs and not hit the target. Otherwise, it's going to cost them £15,000 per car. And we'll take that even further. Here we go. This is what we want. This is what they've all forgotten to say, look. SMMT, they've reposted their own post. The SMMT have reposted their own post. We'll go down to this one. This year's growth cements Britain as Europe's second biggest new BEV market by volume and closing the gap on leader Germany. Electricity, that flash, I don't think it's the flash off TV and the comics. I think that's meant to be electricity. Reflects long-term manufacturer investment in new models with more than 130 zero-emission choices now available, up more than 42%. On which the sector is offering record discounts. So they've introduced 42% more EVs than a year ago, on which the sector is offering record discounts. While this is providing some success, the scale of discounting, worth some $4 billion across 2024, is unsustainable, and poses a risk to future consumer choice and UK economic growth. With the right responsive market regulation, however, the UK could hold a commanding position as an exemplar global market for a rapid zero emission transition. It couldn't. It absolutely couldn't. Let's have a look at the figures. Here we go. We'll go down to the figures. So year to date, 153,610. This time in 2023, year to date, 156,525. So there's about 3,000 cars, isn't there, that you know, it's dropped 3,000. Battery electric vehicles, 38,581 in 2024, 24,359 in 2023. It's going to be another record month this month for December, because they will register like there is no tomorrow. It will further depress the used car market, add to depreciation, add to their own woes, because they're going to have to discount the new ones even more than the ones that are already discounted and still for sale, thereby cocking the dealers up. Year to date, 1,811,992 as opposed to 1,761,962. So, you know, what's that, 50,000? Up 50,000 on last year to date. Right, now then, so that's all good, isn't it, for EVs? Now let's get back to the 4 billion. Up at the top there, EV uptake rises as manufacturers continue unprecedented discounts totaling 4 billion this year. 4 billion. 4 billion. 9 noughts. A 4 and 9 noughts. Let's do some calculations. Four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I haven't got enough noughts on my calculator. Well, bugger. I'm not doing 10 to the power. Let me have a look at this. Okay, so 4 billion. My calculator won't go up to 4 billion without doing 10 to the power. So I'm going to do it on my phone. Hopefully this will do. So let's see. Clear. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4 billion. They've sold 338,314 battery electric vehicles, divided by 338,314. 4 billion divided by the EVs they've sold, because don't forget, they don't lose money on ICE cars. They weren't losing money on ICE cars, so this is all down to EVs. Equals £11,823.34p. For every EV they have sold, they have lost, and this 4 billion, that won't be right. It'll be a lot more. For every EV they've sold, they've lost £11,823.34. And just remember, that's what they've lost. Actually lost by making them. How much have they lost by not selling an ICE car? How much do you think they'll make? Yeah? How much do you think they, instead of selling 338,000 ICE cars and making money, they've sold EVs and lost 8,200. And that's the tip of the iceberg. Because if they also get fined £15,000 for selling too many Petrols, that's even, you know, they're between a rock and a hard place. These people saying that it's a good thing, the ZEV mandate, they are stupid. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Moronic. Insane. And I don't get it. Right, okay, so they've lost 4 billion. There's a new factory. No, let me see, new factory. I saw somewhere about a new factory. Colin was calling Ford before. Colin knows everything. He knows everything about cars. He knows everything about selling cars. Everything. He knows what the manufacturers should do. Ford Halewood powers up UK e-drive production. Ford has started UK e-drive production at its Halewood plant that will power future Puma Generation E, E-Transit Custom and E-Tornado custom vehicles. Production kicks off in Halewood following a £380 million investment, including £30.9 million of government funding that will see the facility able to produce 420,000 e-drive units each year. This capacity will mean 70% of Ford's electric vehicles sold across Europe will be powered by UK manufactured technology. 380 million. It's cost 4 billion. It's cost 4 billion to give cars away, to give EVs away. 4 billion. What could they have done with that 4 billion if they'd have introduced them properly? If the salesman had got off their arse, if the EV shills had shut their mouth, if the government had got anybody who'd got any sense, if our car trade or motor trade had somebody who'd got some balls to stand up and tell the truth, what could they have done with that? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, divided by, well, we'll say 400 million, eh? How about that? Yeah? Nice, easy figure. So, 400, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 400 million equals 10. So with the money they've given away by trying to sell EVs, trying to force EVs on people, they could have opened 10 new factories in the UK, employed all those people, I'm peeved. He was right. He was actually right. I'm peeved. £400 million for a factory. And it's more than that because I rounded it up. 10 factories. All those people in employment. Extra jobs. Retrain, retool. Make EVs properly. Instead, they pissed it up the wall. You EV shills, you are idiots. Morons. You haven't got a clue. I don't know why you're doing it. Well, I do. I can't say why you're doing it or why I think you're doing it. But you ain't telling the truth. Guy here calls me a liar for repeating a story about a guy who has a Tesla, and you've got these lot. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. 4 billion. $4 billion to the motor trade. To the best of my knowledge, that never happened with ICE cars. Here's another thought. I know I've already said Tatar. Here's another thought. How many trees could you have planted with £4 billion? And the profit you would have made selling ICE cars and not EVs. 4 billion, how many? I'll see if I can work it out. Right, that's it, honestly. End of. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Merry Christmas to everybody. I forgot. Merry Christmas to everybody. EV shills. Let's face it, they may as well have a good Christmas because they've got no enjoyment in their life, have they? What must it be like knowing that you are a puppet? What must it be like for your self-respect knowing that you are conveniently missing out the elephant in the room in order to push an agenda? How bad must they feel? I'll tell you what, seriously, you EV shills, have a Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.